Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Thankful Thursday, March 21st, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest is no stranger to the dollhouse. He's been on the show previously already, and I think this would be like his, third or fourth interview. And I'm super excited to have him back as we get into some things for the new year of 2024. I'm super excited. Hey, brother, shout outs to my brother at the K-Took spot. Make sure you guys head on over, subscribe, and hit that bell, and check out his YouTube channel. As you guys can see, I am doing lime green today, and I'm loving this dress because it is cutouts on the side. Make sure you guys head on over. This week has been a very fun and colorful week. I have been changing the colors up because it is officially spring, baby. And if you are not doing spring in color, then what are you doing? So without further ado, let me go ahead and share this live with my very handsome guest so that we can catch up with Whitt and see what he's been up to in the year 24. All right? Give me a sec. Let me share this live. And I need you guys to also head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime if you have not. I see y'all all are coming in. Welcome, welcome to the dollhouse. I dream in color, and I hope you guys are too. It is officially spring. Like this morning it was pretty chilly, but now it's like in the mid 70s, I want to say. So it warmed up a little bit this afternoon. But I'm super excited so that we can get our very special guest in here. And he's here, Fashion Dolls. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest back to the dollhouse, Whitt. Hmm. Uh-oh. I don't know what just happened. Ah. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again and see if I can add him back, Fashion Dolls. Oh, let's see. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's show. I had such a great time yesterday with Jawan. That was a great interview. I hope you guys have been enjoying the looks this week. It has been spring fashion revival for me. It's refreshing. It's a new start. It's a new beginning. So let me try to add my guest again. Hopefully it will work this time. I don't know what's going on. I think it's probably because we're both clicking at the same time. I'm not sure. Are welcome.
Doing.
Hi. So great to have you back. It's been a minute since we did our last interview, which I want to say would have been 2023.
Yes, it was last year for sure.
Yes, and it's such a pleasure to have you back now in the year 24 to catch up
Thank
and
you.
see what you've been up to. So before we get into everything you've been up to, how has 2024 been for you so far?
Busy as hell, which is always a blessing. Work has gotten me just, I mean, like my day job, my career, well, one of my career jobs. I work in education, as um I said before. So I work with high school students. I run a student employment program. So I employ over, well, now close to 120 high school students, and
Wow.
it's a lot. They actually, some of them just left today, about 5 minutes ago, to go to Dubai for a week. We do a study abroad program. So I'm taking 10 students in June to Costa Rica and taking about 25 next year to Spain. So
Wow.
I'm looking forward to it, which is phenomenal. Great experience, not just for me, but also for them. But I'm running a fitness program here as well. Trying to do now a gigantic fashion show. So a lot of my students are extremely talented, whether it's design or either modeling or what have you. And we just want to sort of showcase their great abilities and sort of put someone like me on the forefront to sort of help them through that whole process. And I think this will enable me for future endeavors that I have plans to sort of embark on after this whole education phase, and sort of start like my own thingy, where which I can sort of mentor and sort of shape students, or like not even students but like the youth, in terms of like going after their dreams, especially like within modeling, especially within fashion and stuff like that, because a lot of them are open to do it, but just so afraid, and they just need that person to sort of push them and put them in the right direction. Like I didn't have that. I started well in my latter years in life, but I'm glad I did. And at the end of the day, I tell them, listen, if I can do it as a older man, there should be no way in heck that you guys cannot do this. So I just want to be that person to sort of help them through that process.
And we touched on that yesterday with my guest, Jawan. We talked about it not being too late to start and follow your dreams and your
Absolutely.
passion at any age. So
Hmm.
you have longevity in this business because you continue on. We see the fitness, we see the motivation, we see the drive.
Right.
What else keeps you going besides the kids?
What keeps me going? There's no looking back. I mean, I figured, once again, I started, very much later in life. And at the end of the day, I used to look back and say, wow, I wish I would have started like when I was 19 or in my 20s or what have you. But then I'm like, no, because, me starting, very much later on, I think I was much more mature. Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say mature. I think I was hungry. Like the hunger was definitely much more intense, and it was nothing stopping me. There was nothing that was going to hold me back and tell me no. Once I saw that avenue and saw how to move, and I figured, well, this one is doing it, and I know I'm capable of doing it, and not to be cocky or anything like that, but it was something that you know if I see someone else doing something that I'm not doing, but yet and still I have aspirations of doing it, and I'm not doing it, and I know what I'm capable of doing it and how I can turn it out, then I'm going to make sure I make that happen. And what keeps me going now is just the fact of I enjoy what I do. It's not even about me trying to get more followers or me trying to put money in my
Right.
pocket. A lot of my modeling doesn't even pay me, and I'm not going to gigs as often as I used to, but I get booked for a lot of stuff, fortunately, and that's because of recognition, and also it's also because of the catalog that I've sort of developed. Meeting the people that I've developed, still in contact. I actually had a gig last week. I used to do, I still do like the artistic drawing, and I'm like, the live model. And one of the studios that first actually booked me and took a chance in booking me, you know, over 10 years later, still hit me up and said, hey, can you come and bartend and stuff like that. And I was able to see like so many of the artists that actually drew me for the first time that I haven't seen like in over 10 years, and they still remember my name, and now they want to book me for this gig and that gig. And it was a phenomenal experience. And I just looked, when I was on my way back home from it, I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's to me that means a lot. It actually made me a little emotional just because, they didn't have to say that. There was no one forcing them to do that. I don't stay in contact with them like that every single day, but for them to, to see me after so many years and still want to, have a relationship, professional relationship with me, and put me on to gigs and stuff like that, I think is phenomenal. And that's why I do what I do, because again, you meet some amazing people who just authentically are just awesome. There's nothing forcing them to be the way they are. I'm not trying to bribe them or anything like that. They're just being natural and real, and I appreciate that so much. And again, I love what I do. It's that inner passion. That's why I started. I didn't start doing this because I wanted to be a superstar and stuff like that, or make hell of a lot of money, or be like the next, like I said, have 15 gazillion followers. I did it because I love the art of modeling. I love portraying a different character, being someone different, stepping out of my own comfort zone and doing something that, again, when I was younger, I thought I could never, ever, ever obtain or never, ever do. I didn't think I was tall enough. I thought I was too fat. I thought I was this. I thought it was that. I have a lisp. I have a gap. All these things. But then I'm like, so what? Who cares? And the worst people can say is no. But if I don't give that at least a chance and make it happen, then I would never know what the turnout could possibly be. And I tell my students that all the time. I have so many students that, they want to do things. I just met with one of my former students yesterday. He's second year in college, and he's contemplating on, dropping out because that's not what he wants to do. But he's scared, and then, he told his parents, and his parents were like, so what's your plan? And he's like, he had no plan, And I said,
No,
listen,
no.
right. And I told him, I said, in order for people to buy into you, you have to sell them your boss quality. No one's going to want to buy into what you have going on if you're undecided or if you're a little nervous. Everyone's going to be nervous, absolutely.
Yes.
But you have to bring it to, especially a parent, like a boss. Because that's when they're going to buy into. You let them know, listen, I do want to drop out because X, Y, and Z. But here's my plan. I want to do X, Y, and Z. you bring it to them, and I'm not saying that's going to work all the time, but the majority of people will buy into someone who actually they can sit there and have faith in and say, you know something, I'm comfortable that the way he brought it to me or he or she brought it to me, I'm comfortable they're going to make it happen because they sound like a boss. So, and again, and I use the same thing with my model, and that's why I haven't stopped because it's so innate to me right now, when which I don't want to, and because I enjoy it. I had a photo shoot last week, and pictures are hot, by the way. But at any rate, I was meeting with the photographer, and we're like, he was like, it's just so easy. I'm like, once you do something for such a long time, but you definitely do it with a passion and with integrity, and just your heart is in it 100%. It just becomes second nature. And I again, I can't see myself stopping. I could be 80 years old, and if I'm able to get up there and freaking pose and do what I got to do, I'm going to do what I got to do, regardless of what the naysayers or haters or anyone would tell me not to.
And that you do because we've seen the photos and the photos are absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go back for a minute because you've been transparent in our previous interviews about body image and how it's
Yes,
reflected. And we're seeing a whole lot of fashion brands be inclusive
of
with
course.
their fashions for different shapes and sizes.
Right.
So, what do you think about the new shift in the fashion world for people of all shapes and sizes?
I think, I mean, number one, again, I'm of age and I'm proud of my age. I'm 51 years old. And I started this modeling like at 40. I used to be ashamed to say how old I was, or just try to lie and say I'm this and that, because people didn't believe me, or just I thought that that would be a deterrent, if anything. If anything, now I feel uber comfortable and uber confident about it, because you know something, it takes a lot of endurance to make it to this particular age and still be able to do something that, again, a person like me always assumed that I could never do. So seeing this new wave of, acceptance, even like in the gay community and stuff like that,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sort of, yeah, I'm very, I have different opinions about it, good and bad. Um, the good stuff is that I'm I'm overjoyed that people are able to be who they are, and actually, one, make money off of it. You know what I mean? But two, be celebrated as they should have been eons ago. I come from an age in which that would never happen. I didn't see that. I was, so closet cased, and I didn't come out until I was 25. You know what I mean? And you know, it wasn't easy. And to see this new wave of things change, and acceptance, and especially with body image, it's phenomenal. I suffered from, body dysmorphia for so many years. Am I 100% healed? No. Do I think I ever will be 100% healed? No, because I'm always gonna, when I skip the gym one day, even if it's one day, and I work out 6 days a week, you know what I mean? If I skip one day, I do go through little moments of, oh my God, am I gonna? It's my stomach, or I start looking at myself differently in the mirror, and just I have to catch my breath and tell myself, all right, Dion, get it back together. Get it back together. Let's keep it moving. And again, it doesn't last for like hours or anything like that, but I do go through moments of like self doubt. You know what I mean? So seeing how things are now and seeing how things are celebrated, again, the positive thing about that, it gives a person who suffers stuff like I did an opportunity of healing, of looking at themselves, saying, hey, wait a minute, but the world is accepting me. It's not a bad thing. On the flip side of that, I also feel twofold about, people making marketing and making money off of other people's, how can I say it, issues, but not really helping them in terms of really being there for them. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of it has become a profitable thing as opposed to more of a mental thing and an emotional thing, or a helping thing. And it, just in my opinion, not saying 100% is like that, but I still feel in certain aspects it turns out to be more of a money thing as opposed to it being a healing thing.
Yeah.
But at the same token, I'm glad it's happening. At least it's being put out there, and it also gives people the opportunity to, you say, something. Look at it as if, wait, maybe it's not a bad thing, because it's not a bad thing at all. We all go through, some types of self doubt, or some type of issues, whether it's body image or what have you. I'm going to Boston the first week in April. I'm going to my school, and we do this boys club and girls club, and it's all about liberation, and all about being like a big brother type program and big sister type program. And each teacher and each director is going to do a workshop, and of course my workshop is going to be body dysmorphia. I'm going to title it "How to Define Me." So it's going to be sort of twofold, and I'm going to speak to the kids about self acceptance, a little part of what I went through, because I think in order for people to understand or at least be healed, I have to be transparent and give them more about myself, because people can look at me or look at a person and assume that we didn't go through no problems because of how we carry ourselves. And
Right.
I've always told myself that I would never let what I went through or how I felt about myself sort of overpower me. Of course I'm gonna have issues. Of course I'm gonna go through stuff. Of course I may get emotional or what have you within myself, but I'm not gonna let that define me 100%. I'm gonna keep it moving because I have to keep it moving. So but in order for them to understand that, I have to let them know. And when I tell people sort of about like my struggles in the past, they're like, "What? You? Yeah." They were, "Yeah, but you model." I said, "And what does that mean?" If anything, the modeling helped me because, even posing, artistic news and stuff like that, when people they assume it one way. I love doing stuff like that because, again, it takes a lot of guts to be that exposed in front of someone else, especially coming from a person who suffered from body image issues. And when I first did it, it wasn't even a thought process. Like I would have, I still look back and look at myself like, how the hell did I make that happen? Coming from the situations I've came from without going to therapy, I didn't speak to counselors. I didn't do none of that. I'm Jamaican, so Jamaican and Irish, but my family, with the whole homosexuality and the whole stuff like
Yeah,
that was not
I know.
accepted whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And there was no one to really talk to like that, to really express how I feel and who I was and stuff like that. And people assume, when they see you pose a certain way or pose without clothes, they think it's all a sexual thing. No, it's not. And for some it is, but for me it was not. And for me it is not. To me, the human body, like I said before, it's it's art. And I'd rather pose like that because not everyone can convey an image
Yeah.
being totally exposed, and being totally stripped down in front of someone else takes a lot of balls. To me, that's my therapy. For me, that's my way of healing. And that's how I've healed, by being able to do that. Because I'm like, something, I could speak to a stranger. I could pay someone to sit there and give me some medical term, and medically diagnose me with something. But at the end of the day, they don't know me. I know me, so I know what I'm going through. At the end of the day, I can only heal myself. And sometimes, and then I thought, by me, maybe, once I started doing that, I'm like, wow, I feel so liberated after a shoot like that, or even being drawn, because it takes a lot of, it's a
Yes.
lot, and not everyone could do that. So to be able to sit there and do that, yeah, finished, 2 hours done. So there's nobody else having club. No. So I'm not. Have a good one. No, no, away from my right. Thank you, Andrew. I'll see you tomorrow. All righty. Multitask.
No, you're
So to
good.
be able to, thank you. Yeah, so to be able to do something like that, to me, it's such a healing process, and I feel empowered. I feel stronger. I feel enlightened. I feel free, and that's my therapy. So again, to see this new wave of, and I'm sorry I'm going through different tangents, but that's just me. I'm Aquarius. We go all over the place. But in order for, or when I see this whole wave of, like, body image acceptance, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Finally it's there, but I just want to make sure that it's actually for the right reasons, and not just to try to make some money because it's a hit thing and everyone is doing it, so let me jump on a bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? So that's my concern with it. But again, it's either that or not. I'm glad it's actually being put to the forefront.
Now I'm going to read some comments here. Beautifully Diverse Fashion says, "Oh, good on you about your age. My girl Rage, who I've known for years, who is an amazing hairstylist in the RVA area. She's coming on the show, so make sure you guys stay tuned." She says, "I'm tearing up. I needed to hear this."
Wow.
My brother K2 says, "You look great for your age, DeWitt."
Thank you
And
so much.
Rage says, "You are inspiring to me in this moment."
Oh,
So the
you guys
chat
are
is
awesome.
going on and on.
I love it. I love it. Again, I don't have, and I thank you for, having this platform, and giving me the opportunity to be transparent, and to, have the audience, see a different, not even different side, to see, well, of course, to see me in a different way. Because again, I know what I post. I know, social media is called social media for a reason, right? And I post, I have people tell me, oh, you post so provocative at times. I'm like, okay, and who, you ain't seen shit yet, you know. And I don't change my tune or change how I move for no one at all, and I never will. You know what I mean? I stand by what I do. I love what I do. Of course, I love enticing, intriguing, make it. Listen, at the end of the day, it's who I am. I don't do it for no other reason. I'm not trying to compete with anyone. I don't sit
Right.
there and try to do it for fans or do it for this. I do it because I love what the hell I do, and I think showcasing the human body in many different forms and in many different arenas and in many different avenues, it's an art, and I love doing art, whether it's a sexual one, whether it's an artistic one, whether it's a commercial one, fashion one, you name it, it's art.
I'm gonna be completely honest and transparent right now
Thank you.
because I love what you said. I mean, you've gotten criticism on your photos. Sex sells.
You damn right.
If you are not doing, and me, when I first started this platform, I was always in, and Rage will tell you, she's known me since I first started this platform. It was always, I would have to say, capri pants, covered up, like a blouse or dress shirt. But now I've gotten in tune. Now that I'm 30, I've gotten in tune with my sensuality, my
Right.
sexuality. So you've seen me push the envelope with a lot of the pieces that I wear on the show.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people are just like, whoa, that dress is short. You would never show off this much leg. I've gotten in tune with myself. When
Right.
you develop confidence and you develop a self awareness about yourself, nobody can stop you.
At all.
So it's going to be critics out here that are not going to like what people are posting. Oh, this is too
Of
provocative.
course.
But I think it is art. You did one photo shoot that was very powerful. And we talked about
Thank
it in
you.
our second interview. And I've given you so much praise for doing this photo shoot because there's so many people out here who struggle with body dysmorphia and
Yes.
body image and wanting to look like the picture perfect body image. And in a day and age where it's Ozempic and
Right.
all of these things, BBL, this, I mean, it's so much. It was one photo shoot, and you know which photo shoot I'm talking about with the food.
Yes.
That
Oh,
is powerful and it spoke volumes because there's so many people out here, they think that models, you know,
don't
don't
put this.
battle with anything, but
No.
they do battle with things behind the scenes.
Yes.
So what do you think about that? What is your response to
It's that I've always wanted that photo shoot was I didn't know how I would get through that. And I have to say, during COVID, like we spoke before, I always wanted to do my own coffee table book, and but I didn't want to make it something very much like, all right, I can easily just have a dope photo shoot and put together a bunch of cool images that I think are cool or what have you, and make it like into a modeling book. But I wanted to develop it into a book. All right, old man, have a good one. I wanted to make it into something like a book where in which it can have chapters, sort of like a Renaissance type thing, but my own version of my art, but also telling the story in some way, shape, or form. I love showcasing things that people assume that I can't do. People will look at me, and again, they may think I'm one noted. He only poses nude. He only poses with his chest out. He's only does this. No, I can work clothes. I love fashion. I love dressing. I got that from my mother. God rest her soul. She was my inspiration. She would dress her ass. She bought me my first Louis Vuitton bag. Things like that. Like, but this was us. That's what she loved, and I never like people were like, oh, she's bull. That's what she works hard. She wants to buy that. That's her fucking business.
that?
You know what I mean? So I've developed that as well. We have particular tastes. So I always thought when I was gonna put this book together, like, I can put out stuff like that. But I wanted to touch base on the body dysmorphia aspect and do something around the things that actually were real to me. And I would, when I was suffering through that, because again, food was my happy place, I would load up on sweets like, coffee. I mean,
Yeah.
not coffee, donuts, cookies, all those, all those type of sugary sweets. That was my savior. That healed me for whatever reason. That fucking healed me. Am I proud of it? Of course, I'm not proud of it because something. But it didn't break me. I went through it, and I still struggle with it. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I still struggle with food. I don't think I'll ever be 100% free from not struggling with food. I fight. It's an inner demon that I think that I'm not gonna take a pill. I'm not gonna get analyzed. I know what the fuck is wrong with me. I know what the hell I go through. And pardon my French, but it is what it is. But I know how to handle it. like I said, I may go through my motion of oh shit, I shouldn't eat that cookie today. I feel guilty. I feel bad. It lasts for like an hour or so, and that's it. I keep it moving. I keep it moving. But when I did that shoot, I didn't want it to be so stereotypical posy. Like anyone
Right.
can sit there and pose. I'm not, and act and portray something to make the audience think, oh shit, he's really. But this was real. This wasn't something that was staged in which it was like, okay, I never went through this, so now I have to act as if I do. No, I really did, and I wanted it to be real. When I got into that cocoon, it was like one of the poses. I was like in the cocoon, and I was all engulfed in those particular suites, and I wanted it to be a black like background. I wanted it to be like a wooden like bed frame, and have the photographer take different angles of it, but sort of show emotion, but not get up in my face so much, because to me that was too stereotypical. If it would have been so close up for me to, because I felt as though if it were more close-up shots, it would have been too much. Okay, well that's the norm, because now it's going to show that he's struggling. Now I wanted you to see the full image. I wanted it to be something where which you don't really see my face, but I'm showing something not just because I think a good actor shows their emotions through their face for the most part,
Yeah.
right? But a good model shows what they can do through their body and through their movements. And not everyone can do that. I've told people, when people ask why you love modeling, I said because I learned to do things with my body that I never thought that I can do, and it was natural. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't learn how to. Okay, I got to pose like this to convey. I'm doing a fashion shoot, so I got to do this. Of course, you see things and you pick up, but when things just are innate and just sort of happen, like I love, like again, showcasing an image just based on body, and not like see me cry in the face, or see me look a particular way in the face, but showing it in my angles, showing it through how I'm posing. That's not something very easy for a person to do, in my
Yeah.
opinion. You know what I'm saying? I've learned that that's going to convey it better than anything else, and for my opinion, and especially from my book that I wanted to put out. I didn't want it to be something, again, stereotypical, in which, okay, you're going to show me, you're going to have food around me, or me engulfed in food, and you're going to close up on my face, you're going to see tears. Now, we're not doing that. I'm going to show you all from head to toe what I'm trying to convey, and I didn't want it. I didn't want that process, or that particular shot or that particular shoot to be like and like a ongoing nagging concern in my head, because I had to think, how am I going to make this happen? It was pretty quick, because I already knew in my head what I wanted. So I'm like, all right, let me do this and just make it happen. The emotions were going to come out regardless, because I knew what the shoot was about, and being around that food, and just knowing the process, it's naturally the image is going to pop out. So, but I'm glad I did that, and now my whole process, I give myself, I love odd numbers, so I'm giving myself 3 years. There's two particular things that I want to accomplish within between 3 to 5 years. One is definitely I want to compete professionally at least one time, like in a bodybuilding competition. I want to do that before I turn at least 60. I also, because again, with that, fitness has also been my saving grace. I'm in the best shape of my life at 51. I'm in better shape than I was in
Yeah.
my 30s. I'm in better shape than I was in my 40s. And I never thought, and I feel healthy as hell. I never thought this would be possible. But again, naturally, it just transgressed like that. So I have to go with it. So I definitely want to at least put my body through that particular process, which I never did, and because I never did, and I want to, and I know I can. So I definitely have to make that happen. And then I want to write a book on that particular body dysmorphia chapter that I did for the coffee table book. I want to write a book about my struggle and stuff like that. And those are two things that I definitely have to make happen. Not even want to, I'm going to make happen. Between 3 to 5 years. So, wish me luck.
And it's going to happen.
Thank you, my love.
And another thing that we touched on yesterday was ageism in this
Oh yeah,
business, because you say you're at 51, you're the happiest you've ever been.
ever.
And we know that that's a thing in the business as well too. Like everybody's looking for young, new,
Hmm.
fresh, but it's just like as you grow into the business, they push you aside.
Of course.
So what do you think about ageism in the business?
I'm sorry, Rena. I'm addicted to these caramel candies by Werther's. They call it the
I
old lady
love them too.
candies. I'm an old lady, but I love them. um, and my mother used to love these candies too. But ageism, it used to bother me a lot. I'm not gonna lie and be phony to say, oh, please, whatever. No, and I still go through moments where in which, you know, it may pop up in my head. I'm like, all right, but I'm not 30. I'm probably not gonna get this. You know, now I'll be up, maybe afraid to apply to something just because of my age. So that, I think that's something once again that would never get out of my head. It would always, I know me, you know what I mean? I think when a person, I'm the type of person which I don't like saying things just because that's the norm thing to say. I say it because that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know me, I know how my mind thinks. And again, once you get a particular age, your mind is that's how you think, and that's how there's there's a tough chance for it to shift in any other direction. This is how I think. Will I think that I will continue going through that? Those spots in my head where in which it may affect me. Of course, I will. I'll be a fool to sit there and say I'll be fronting if I sit there and say no, it won't. Yes, it will. You know what I'm saying? But again, I don't let it define me. I don't let it stop me in no way, shape, or form. The worst they're gonna say is no. Okay, well you say no, somebody gonna say yes. And if not, I'll keep on trying. It is what it is, People were saying no to me when I was younger. I got more no's when I was younger model than I do now. Go figure. So I think, and that's always another push to make me keep going. Of course, I'm a man, and I have a man mentality. Being gay or not, I'm still a dude at the end of at the end of the day. So my way of thinking is like, it's always competition. I go to set. There's other models there. Of course, I'm thinking about, okay, well, this motherfucker just did his freaking thing. I got to turn this shit out. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's the competitor in me. I'm not trying to push someone to the side or bully them in no way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. But if I know I could do something and someone's doing it better, and we were out trying to, shine, may the best man win, and that's what it is. So, the ageism does come into effect, and it always will come into effect. But again, it doesn't stop me from grinding in no way, shape, or form, and it never will.
And it's never too late. A lot of people think when you get a certain age in the business, you're supposed to stop doing it. I
No,
mean, look at Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell is
exactly.
still walking the catwalks across the country
Better than the
and
younger ones.
looking absolutely flawless. So it's all
Absolutely.
about taking care of yourself and having longevity in this business. When you have
Right.
longevity, you have tenure in the business. And everybody's just like, well, you should stop at this age. No, keep going. I've been doing this I started right after high school with
Look at
this
that.
platform. And now to be in my 30s, when I first started, it's just a big, completely, you see a different outlook
Of
on
course.
life from your
Hmm.
younger years to as you get older. And
Right.
for me now being 30, you see a different outlook, and I see a completely different outlook than when I first started in my teen years, right
Of
after high
course.
school. Yeah, I see the shift. But it does bother me too. A lot of people in this business, oh, when you get a certain age, you need to stop acting, you need to stop doing this. And I was just telling Jawan that yesterday on the show. I said, Marla Gibbs is still acting. I mean,
Thank you.
she grew up right before our very eyes, 227.
Right.
We watched her on 227, and she's still acting. It's never too late to go
It's
after
never too
your
late.
passion and whatever sets your soul on fire. And that's something that I've always encouraged
I
people
mean,
to
use that word that I think one of those comedians said at the NAACP Awards, what, vintage or something like that?
do. Dion
He,
Cole,
yes,
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 she's up
yes.
to that.
So listen, I feel very, I like the word vintage, but I like seasoned better. You know what I'm saying? But I understand. I understand where he's coming from, and I think when you do something for such a long time, and especially when you do something that it's again just it feels natural. It doesn't feel forced at
Yeah,
all, and that's why I got into like again. I got into my I tell people, I tell my students, stuff like that. I got into this because again of just the love of it. It was the love of I love taking pictures. I used to always love taking pictures in school. You should have saw me when I was like 7 years old getting ready for like class pictures. You know what I'm saying? So that was me, and once I learned like angles and camera and just how to connect with you know what I'm saying? People, they don't. It's an art. It's not easy for some. It's not easy for a person who may want to say they want to do it, but don't, but doesn't know. Whatever I won't even say doesn't know. It's not in them naturally. You know what I'm saying? It
yeah,
it it translates harder, regardless of what your body and face looks like. It can be flawless or whatever the situation is. But people can see things in the eyes. You know what I'm saying? When I look at other modeling pictures, when I see like even face shots and close up shots, I go right to the eyes Forget cheekbones and all that. First, I go initially, even if it's a full body, I look if they're connecting with the camera one on one. I go right to the eyes because the eyes will tell you everything. It's not easy to if someone says, "Well, give me an emotion with your eyes." That's not easy for people to do, and that's not easy for someone to fake it or try to act it out. It can be very tough. I've struggled with that before in the past when I was like on like acting shoots or what have you, or like on gigs in which I had to connect with the camera, and it's like okay, because I was coming at it because this is a job, I'm getting paid, and I don't want to mess it up. But then I said, Dion, stop. Go back into why you're doing this. Initially, you're doing it because you love it. So get back that feeling and make it happen. And once I started going through that process, there we go. But initially, it was like, okay, I got caught up in this, and you get caught up in, oh my God, but I don't want to make the producer mad, and this and that. No, 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 no. We can't do that. You did it because you love it. So this should be natural to you. You know how to connect. You know what I'm saying? So I give myself these speeches on set, even when I did that a tough shoot. It was called Feminizing the Masculine Man with Thomas Evans, and I had to he asked me with I was nude and I had to wear a wig and get dragged out in the face, and initially I'm like sure because I love work. He's an amazing artist, so I'm like yeah, not a problem. But then when I got to set and had the wig on and had fake nails and makeup, I'm like holy shit. I started overthinking it. I started thinking about, well, okay, since I'm gay, now I'm going to be typecast, and now everyone's going to think I'm a this.
Right.
And I'm like, what am I doing? And then on top of that, what made that shoot even harder for me, I was the last one on set that day, and then after me, he was shooting the current season of RuPaul's Drag Race's Queens,
Oh,
and they all came early. So I'm over here getting a wig caught in my fucking lipstick, and scratching my thighs with my fake nails. I'm like, oh my god, the heels were hurt. I was like, oh my god. Now I'm gonna look like an idiot in front of these freaking professional drag. Like, no, no, no. So then I had to again give myself that prep talks. All right, Dion. Think of you as that little boy who put on a fucking t-shirt on his head when no one was around looking at you, and you spinning around like you damn Wonder Woman. Get that little boy back in your head, and ironically, that worked because I had to stop overthinking it and take out of the element and just tap into whatever. I tapped into that, and I said, let's work, let's do this. And I thought that when I look back at I showed a lot of my coworkers, and they were just like, wow. Because again, feminizing the masculine man. You have a masculine man with a masculine body in a masculine pose, but he's dragged out in the face. It's how do I convey that? Like, what do you want me to do? And then he was, he gave me no type of I don't know. He gave me direction, of course, but it was not like a job saying, well, you have to pose like this and you have to do that. He said, do you? And I love that. I love when a talented artist allows you to be who you are because they respect what you do. You know what I'm saying? And that makes me feel amazing because again, to be respected and to have people love you, the work that you do, of course, is an amazing feeling. Like I said, I do this just all out of the love, and I'll continue doing it out of the love. And again, not to try to be Mr. This and Mr. That because I'm not Mr. This and Mr. That. You know what I'm saying? It's all out of genuine love and passion for what the hell I do. And like I said, I could be 80 years old, and if I'm still able to get my fucking ass up here and even flex my damn titties in the freaking in the mirror and take a selfie with it, then I'm going to do that.
and you do. You're confident, and that's what it's
Thank you.
about. When you reach a certain age, and my mom told me this, when you get a certain age, you reach a certain confidence about yourself.
Absolutely.
And you don't care what the world has to say. You don't care about the criticism. You don't care about all of these things. You're unapologetic and you're unashamed, and you are living and walking in who you are when you get a
Yes.
certain age. And for me, I can only imagine when I get in my 50s, it's just like it's going to continue on the same energy that
Of
I have
course.
now in my 30s. You don't care. And I don't care. I've gotten to a point in my life where I've learned to not let criticism or certain things hinder me or hold me back or discourage me. I've just
I
learned
love.
to jump out on faith and live life in my own terms. And that would be the best advice to anybody else to get into this business is do it on your own
Of
terms.
course.
If it doesn't make you feel comfortable, don't do it. And I'm
Don't do
not
it.
going to
Thank
do
you.
anything that doesn't make me feel comfortable. But I love pushing the envelope. Fashion, style, sexuality, I love pushing the envelope with that. And I'm unapologetic about
As you should be. Thank you. I'm the same exact way. You see my page. You see what I post. You see what I do, like, and I love every single moment. I have, friends that I, used to work out with. They're like, oh, but you're always in the mirror after your workout. You damn right. If my us bud is getting up at freaking 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, taking my ass to the damn gym, putting in, even an hour workout. I tell people, people think, oh, you must be in the gym for 4 hours. And if you know how to work out, you don't need to be in the gym for 4 hours. I can have a great half an hour workout and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the work you put in. And of course, I want to celebrate that afterwards because to me, that's a celebration. And then on the second stance, I'm like, why am I wasting my time explaining to somebody? You don't like what you see, don't look at it. Keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? So once I realized, not even realized, and that was early on in my life, I'm like, yeah, I'm not explaining shit. I'm going to continue doing me. Like I said, people have two options. You can accept it or not. On you. I'm not hurting no one's feelings. I'm doing what I want to do, and everyone should do the same. You know what I'm saying? If not, then that's your business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I would never be the type of person to look down upon a person. Oh, he posts too, or she posts too many, this and the third. If I don't like what they post, I'm not going to follow it, nor am I going to like it. That doesn't mean I don't like the person. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to talk shit about it or be a hater. I think that's them. I'm different. We keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But that's why like I said, I will never stop doing what I do because this is me. And you have, what did J Lo say on her album? This is me now, something like that. This is me
Yep.
now, then,
Absolutely.
tomorrow, next week, yesterday. It's my renaissance, man. And girl, and I love it. I'm not going to change it for no one. If anything, I'm going to keep progressing. I'm going to keep, pushing the envelope in many different ways, and which I love doing. I love making people sit there and say, "Oh shit, yeah." And it makes me I'm an artist, and there's only,
Absolutely.
an artist, we create different levels, and I love being a person who can be versatile. That's why I like, having like had a fashion shoot recently with this amazing guy Adam Smith from Jersey, and I had one look that the leather outfit, and I'm like, oh, let's do this, and I'm like, well, we should put up, this. I felt very R&B, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I need some old school R&B lyrics to go behind this, blah blah. I love tapping into things where I could do that one day, and then tomorrow I could sit there with and put a napkin around my freaking genitals and pose and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? So it's great to be versatile. You're supposed to be versatile in life because I hate to be one noted. To me being one noted myself is boring, and I'm not a boring person. I love shock values. I love making people sit there and have their mouth open in many different ways, but in the way in which it's like, oh shit, yes, oh shit. He's not afraid to be him. Just be you. You're not hurting no one. You're not committing a crime. Just be you. And that's I feel as though I am. I can. I love. I feel as though like I can be like a superhero type of thing, where in which I have a secret identity. I've been working in the education over 25 years, and I worked at every level, from early child education to higher education at Columbia University. And now I know working with high school students now has been the icing on the cake for me, because a lot of these students look to me as a big brother, and that's what I want. I tell them, I'm not your father, I'm not your teacher, I'm someone you can come and talk to. I'm someone that you can come and talk to, but I'm not someone who can fix your problems. I can give you advice, but that's my advice. You could take it as you want, but I'm someone who could just sit here and listen to you and not judge you and not even have to, because a lot of these kids and people, have people tell them what they should do. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to be told every 10
Mhm.
seconds what you should do. Some people, and I'm the same way, just want someone to listen to me. That's it. So me being in this with this age range is vital. They're at an age from 14 like to 19, where which they need someone just to listen to them, and someone who they could follow and see how they move. I watch how people move. I watch how my mother move. I watch how my friends move. I have people in my life that move a particular way because that's what I like. And I tell students, listen, you watch how people move. You learn a lot from how people move. You know what I'm saying? And you pick up on things. But watch how people move. Watch how your friends move. They move in a certain way. That they move a little crooked. No mas, adios. That's not your friend. But keep an eye. And these, like I said, is again icing on the cake. You know, working with this, and it helps me because I'm not a parent. And you know what I'm saying? I have a dog, but I'm not a parent. But at the end of the day, this it fills a void because I love when they can come to me when a student hits me up, like even on the weekend, and say, listen, I have no one to talk to. Are you busy? Of course, I stop what I'm doing. I'm like, no, I'm good. What's up? Everything all right? You good? No, I just need someone to talk to. That's beyond. I can't even explain to you how great that feeling is for me. You know what I'm saying? Because me growing up, especially growing up in a household in which parents both had great jobs, went had great
Yeah.
educations, put us all through private schools and stuff like that. I had a on the outside it looked like it's a great life, but I had no one to talk to. You know what I'm saying? I had to do things. I had to be a particular person. I had to be smart in school. I had to do chores. I had to do this. I had to do that. Had to not to be gay. I had to be straight. It was so many how I had to be, but it was never, hey Dion, who are you? Who you want to be? So I want to provide that to these kids that I never had that, and to me it fills a major void in my life, and I wouldn't have it no other way. So that's why I say it's the icing on the cake. It actually helps me out even more with my modeling because I'm able to help them. I look at students now and I'm like, yo, have you ever thought about taking pictures? No, no one ever asked me that. I'm like, well, is it something you would be interested in? Well, yeah, I just don't know. Say no more. You know what I'm saying? It's phenomenal. So, again, being that person that can provide this for other people in any capacity, and I'm not an agent. I'm not anyone's manager, but I'm there for someone just to listen to and sort of try to inspire in any type of way. Sign me up, and I'm glad I'm in this profession where I'm able to do that. And then on the flip side, be able to go out there and pose naked or whatever like that.
And just your amount of creativity. I'll never forget when we first did our first interview. When I first met you, I gave you so much praise, and I'm still giving you praise
Thank
because
you, Mom.
you're always encouraging and helping people. These kids specifically, because there's so many teenagers out here. When you become a teenager, and it's just like,
Right.
okay, how do I build my
Sure.
self confidence up? It's a lot of peer pressure around you.
Of course.
And beautifully diverse fashion says that's awesome. That's what people need, someone to listen, especially
Oh yeah.
teenagers. They're now in a day and age where they don't want to, you know, they don't. How can I say it? They don't want to talk
No.
about it. But now that they have someone to listen to them, whatever it is that they're going
And
through,
be
because
real
it's a
with
lot
them.
of peer pressure, high school, all of these
Yeah.
things. I'm sorry,
And,
go
and,
ahead.
and I have to be real with them. I tell my students, like I said, I run a student employment program which is embedded in
Yeah,
the school. I employ these students, give them minimum wage jobs and stuff like that. And I'm like, I always tell them how entitled a lot of these students are. A lot this age bracket is very entitled. Where in which I come from a school where in which it was more, we had to work a little harder in order to obtain certain things, where in which now a lot of things are given without major hard work. And I remind them, especially when they try to go left, I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, I don't have to give you a job. There's no one forcing me to do shit for you. I'm choosing to do so. I'm choosing to hire you. I don't have to. So don't get that twisted. And also, be a little grateful because a lot, when you keep getting handouts consistently, sometimes the graciousness goes out the door. So I have to remind these kids many times, even like with courtesy and coming into my office, if I'm coming into your office, I'm supposed to greet you first. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. A lot of
right.
these kids come in, oh, so can I have extra hours? I look at them like like they literally a ghost and don't even say get out. They see by my face, yeah, oops. And then I have a conversation with them later on when I'm ready. I'm like, listen, don't ever do that again. Don't ever. That was the last time you'll ever come to my office unannounced and without acknowledging me. You're supposed to. You're asking me but the first thing out of your mouth is for a favor. That means I have to change the way I'm doing something because they're feeling too entitled. And I do. You know what I'm saying? But that's the process. That's, again, sure, parents go through the same thing when they have to deal with their kids, or brother go through that with his siblings or her siblings or what have you. So it's all about, that transition. But, I wouldn't have it any other way because, again, they need that. And again, I love it. It just doesn't feel like a job. You know what I'm saying? Even though it doesn't feel like a job because I get more pleasure out of it than it being a needed thing for me, like I have to do in order to survive. Of course I have to survive. Of course I have to pay mortgage and do all this stuff. That's the norm. But at the end of the day, I'm at a job where in which it just feels natural. I love it. And then I have the modeling on the side where in which, wait, I can incorporate both in some way, shape, or form. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And I'm able to do that. I'm at a place where in which they allow me to do stuff like that. So this is it's the icing on the cake for me. And I think, again, happening at my years, at my age now is phenomenal. Again, I put in my hard work. I paid my damn dues. I worked in programs in which, I was getting paid to shit money or dealing with like just just insaneness, and I still did it. But again, now I'm sort of reaping the benefit of having a place where, which something, I love what I do, and I feel respected, and I feel, that they actually enjoy what I do. You know what I'm saying? They don't feel like they have to have me here. Like they theoretically like, and my students, I have the students are, it could be a pain in the ass one day, but then I want to give them a hug the next. You know what I'm saying? But that's life. It is. I know people like that. I have friends like that. I have family like that. So it's all good. But again, my saving grace has been my model, and I would never stop doing it because it's healed me in so many ways, and way in which I never thought it would, and it has, and it only progresses me and makes me want to continue on and sort of just keep reaching whatever goal. I never have like an end goal in terms of, okay, so I want to do. I mean, there's certain things I want to accomplish, but when people say, well, how long you want to keep modeling for? I don't know. I I can't even answer that because I may look tomorrow and say, okay, I'm done, I'm good. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? As of now, I have no end date on that because I still love it. So
And it's encouraging and it's uplifting to other people who struggle with
thank you.
body dysmorphia or
Absolutely.
just confidence, lack of confidence. Mainly young people, you like you said, your teenage years. And one thing you also said as well too as greeting, because people just come in like they don't say anything, they just walk
No.
in. That's the thing for me as well too.
Right.
Come in and greet somebody. You never know what a person could be going through in
Never.
their life or that part or that situation, and you just walk in and say, "Hey, can I borrow this? Can I do this?" No,
Yeah.
greet me, and then we can
Like,
talk and we
excuse
can have
you.
a conversation there. Right.
But yeah,
So go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry to cut
No,
you
no, no,
off.
no. I was just gonna say I agree with you 100%.
Right. And it's all about self-esteem as well too, because there's a lot of people out here who lack that. A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
people who lack that and building up confidence. A lot of people think that, oh, well, you can just build it up like that. No, it takes
No.
time. You got to go in it
Absolutely.
step by step. And a lot of people think that you can just go into it. But my thing is this, write down what you want to do. I know I write down a lot of things and I sit down and I reflect. So make sure that you're reflecting and taking time for yourself as well too. For
Absolutely.
whatever career field that you're going in, make sure that you're writing it down. And that'll be
Thank
my
you.
best advice to anybody else as well too wanting to get into the business.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And that's something that I don't do that, I've always told myself, oh, yeah, I should be doing that, should be doing it. And it's something I am going to start doing. I already made like a determination in my head. I'm like, because I am getting older and I do forget little something, something. But at the end of the day, it also helps me because again, me, my birth, my mind can go like this. One day I could say, "Hey, I want oranges." Next day I could say, "Oh, I want egg roll." I don't know, but I need to start writing things down more, just because I could analyze it better and sort of track it better, and maybe even making it happen better, faster, what have you. But that's great advice, so I definitely thank you for that.
You're welcome. I'm always writing things down, and I was telling my guest this just this week. I'm always writing things down, and I've created little sticky notes. Every morning when I get up, I have a mantra, I have a routine. I
Me
say
too.
my morning
Me
affirmations,
too.
I
Me too.
pray, and I do my morning devotion. Those are things that get me up and going through the morning as well too.
Yes.
So I've learned this from one of my guests, Rico King. He has a whole board full of like
Yes.
quotes and positive
I wrote to Rico
affirmations.
many times. Rico's awesome.
Yes. And he puts them down on his board. It's like a list of them, of affirmations and things. If
I
you guys follow
love it.
him on IG, you've seen it. And I've started doing it as well too. And each and every day I go and I take a quote off of my board and I put it on my mirror
I love
every day.
that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I have my morning mantras. I can't get off my bed. Like it's just something that has stuck with me. I can't put my feet off of my bed until I at least thank the person above for making me wake up another day. You know what I'm saying? I feel as though I owe that. I think
Mm.
it's courtesy to me. I have to thank the person who created me before I can literally take two steps off of that damn bed, even to use the bath. Like it's, and I've been doing that for years, and it makes me me, and it makes me have start my day off I think you're supposed to start. I'm a firm believer in starting your day off with thanks. You got to give thanks,
Yes.
and whomever that may be. Some people may have a different. They may believe in X, Y, and Z. That should be give that person or give something someone something anything thanks because someone created you, right? You got here somehow. Thank that being for making that happen before you start your day, because anything can happen once you leave your house. Anything can happen once you get off the damn bed. You never know. So you got to be grateful and thankful for surviving another day. This world has been going crazy. The city's going crazy. It's been going crazy. We never know what can happen once we get up. So, our heart, like I had a student today, he was in my fitness class and he's only 14 years old and he's working out. He goes, I'm sorry, Mr. Dion, but I'm feeling lightheaded. I've never felt like this before. You never know. You never know what can happen. So it's like, give the creator thanks for creating you. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that's an end all and savor, but I just think that's something that it's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's me. So teach his own.
Absolutely. And my mom always told me that once you get the bigger you get in this business, don't forget that you always put God first in everything that you do.
You're
Or to
damn right.
anybody out there, whatever it is that you believe, she said you put God first in
Of
everything
course.
that you do. And I've always been a firm believer of that. So every time I
Same
do an
here.
interview, every time I get up and I start my day in the morning, I'm always talking to God and having a conversation with Him. And I'm doing my affirmations. And that's what gets me going through the day as well, too.
I love it. I love it. It's amazing.
So, what's next? You've got all of these things coming up, these amazing events planned with your students. So what is next for D-Whitt in the
I definitely want to have my own agency. I think that's
future?
my end goal. I definitely want to have like a. I don't want to say it's like a big. It's so it encompasses self help, but in terms of like the industry, getting people, whether it's young people, older people, assisting them with living out their dream, and sort of making them have that connection. So it's sort of like a consultant type firm, but in the industry that I work in. You know what I'm saying? So that's my ultimate dream, and I know that can definitely happen with the amount of people that come to me for assistance in many different avenues. It's telling me something. It's giving me it. And if that happens naturally without me making it, I don't ask, I don't force, I'm just like, listen, I'm here if you need help. That's okay, bye. You know what I'm saying? And when I get that abundance of people coming to me, I'm like, wait a minute, is this a sign someone's telling me I should go a particular avenue? And that's how I feel, and I have to make that happen. So that's my ultimate goal, is to make that happen and start writing things down to sort of track and plot on how that's going to happen. Because again, in order for something like that to happen, I have to start writing things down
Yeah.
and sort of doing a timeline, schedule, a map, you name it, a freaking damn jigsaw puzzle. I don't know, whatever it's going to do to make that happen. I have to make it happen because again, it's so too many things are pointing in that direction that I cannot overlook it. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's not about the money, but it's also about progression. I've been in the
Yes, you must have got a call because it knocked the sound out.
writers here. That's why.
Oh goodness. So you were saying before you got cut off?
Oh yeah. So just that's going to be my next goal to make happen.
All right. So final thoughts before we close out because D-Whitt is about to leave Fashion Dolls. His ride is here. So for you, what advice would you give to the next generation that is up and coming and discovering confidence and self-esteem within themselves? What is a piece of advice that you would?
I'm glad you asked me that. The funny thing today, one of our teachers, our students are graduating this year, and they asked other teachers if we can like put in a quote for their yearbook and stuff like that. And again, I'm taken back from my book. My book was called "Comfortable Being Uncomfortable," and I
Mm,
live by that because I'm that. It defines who I am. It defines my journey, defines my struggle. It defines why I do what I do, because you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's how you get through situations. You know what I'm saying? Every situation that I think, the majority of situations that I'm in are uncomfortable. They are uncomfortable to the naked eye because, again, I'm in situations many times that people normally, like even within my circle, are not in. And these are good stuff. I'm not saying anything bad or even bad situations, but you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like when I did that shoot with Thomas Evans with the hair and the makeup and all that stuff, I was
Yeah.
very uncomfortable because you know what I'm saying. But then I had to get out of my head and say, Dion, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable in order to make this happen. And I think my advice to any person, whether young, old, my age, older than me, or what have you, wanting to model, wanting to, do something or have a passion for something, not just modeling, but live out a dream, but are afraid to. Always put yourself in a situation that's going to be uncomfortable because it's uncomfortable trying to live out that dream because that's what holds us back because we're afraid or what have you. So once you become comfortable doing that, you're good as gold. So I might again, we keep saying it, be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's got me through so much in my life, and it's continuing to get me through. So that's my advice to anyone else.
And today's final thought ties in perfectly on everything that we covered with DeWitt today. It comes from Denzel Washington, and he says, goals on the road to achievement cannot be achieved without discipline and consistency.
Love
Stay
it.
dedicated and live life through passion and fire, and never let anybody tell you other than. Now, we got a question before we let you go, DeWitt, from
Sure.
Beautiful Diverse Fashion. She wants to know, what advice would you give to young people who are afraid of being themselves?
Ooh, step out of that. The only advice I would give, and this advice I'm going to give is what works for me. You got to jump. There's
Yes.
no one can tell you what you should do. You only know what you can do. Because someone who's going to tell you what they think you should do may not be what you want to do. So the only thing you can do if you want to do something, but you're afraid to do it, you just have to do it. There's no. I'm very much straight down to the. And I get this from my father. My father, straight Jamaican business dude. Listen, you want to do it, do it. You have to lead,
Mm,
right? And that's the only way you're going to know whether or not it's the only way you're going to know whether or not this is what you really want to do by taking an opportunity, taking a chance to make it happen. But you have to take that leap. No one can take that leap for you because if someone else takes that leap for you, that's not for you. Only you would know how it's going to turn out. If it's right for you, wrong for you, if you like it, not like it, or whatever. But you got to take that leap. And I know it's tough as hell. I know it's hard as hell. But if my butt can do this and take a leap, and I took a leap, and I took a leap in my 40s, then someone else can. Guaranteed.
absolutely. And it can be scary, but you never know unless you
You never
try.
know unless you
For
try.
kicking off this season 18, it was scary for me because I'm just like, okay, are people going to watch? Are they going to
Right.
tune into the interviews? All of these thoughts just started running through my head.
Of
But I
course.
said, okay, you never know unless you try.
I
So
love it.
keep going, fashion dolls. And that's my advice to anybody out here as well, too. And
Thank
DeWitt,
you.
always a pleasure chatting with you. We
Mwah.
got to have you back on again, my
You let
love.
me know you're phenomenal. I love you. I thank you for giving me this platform to be able to be real and authentic with your audience and with you. You make me feel comfortable, and I appreciate you so much. So I thank you.
Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. You're absolutely welcome.
And where can everyone follow you and check you out?
Well, again, my Instagram is like my biggest platform, at D33 Whitt, WHITT. Follow me. There's links like my Facebook on there as well. Yeah, so let's make it happen, people.
All
Thank you
right.
again. Thank you again. You guys have an amazing day, beautiful weekend. Continue being amazing. Don't let no one stop you or stop your dreams or stop your passion at all, regardless on how short, tall, dark, big, small, whatever, old, young, doesn't matter. Don't let no one knock your hustle. Didn't Jay-Z say that? Somebody knock your hustle? Somebody? Yeah, one of them. No. Don't let no one knock your hustle.
Absolutely. All right, fashion dolls. Joining me
Thank
tomorrow,
you
we
guys.
have Billy Ray Porter. Mwah, you take care, and I will see you then.
Thank you,
Thank
my
you.
love. Mwah.
Mwah.